Hello again, nerds. We are doing yet another reaction video. I think I ordered these incorrectly, but whatever. Maybe I'll just put them up in a different order and you'll never know because I didn't say anything just now. You do not remember this happening. This is not the music video you thought it was. I don't know. Jedi powers don't work over YouTube, do they? Anyway, this is Killer Be Killed. They are putting out a new record called Reluctant Hero, November 20th. We will get into history with and of the group. The name of the song is Inner Calm from Outer Storms. It was just released not that long ago, as in like yesterday, as far as I'm recording this. We do have an intro to cover, so let's hit that real quick. Okay, so Killer Be Killed is a supergroup and has just become more super since the first record was released. So I'm gonna pull up the wiki. 2 seconds. Come on, computer, operate. Okay, so for those that don't know, the real quick TLDR, I guess, is the vocabulary that we were supposed to use of the band. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Again, it's a supergroup. Max Cavalera is kind of, I believe he's the brainchild, but I don't know that for certain. Max Cavalera from Cavalera Conspiracy, which is another supergroup of his, as well as Soulfly and Sepultura. Maybe you've heard of those two bands. They're kind of huge in the metal community. He got together with Troy Sanders, who is the bass player from Mastodon. Greg Puciato, who is the vocalist from Dillinger Escape Plan and now has a pretty interesting solo career going for him. And the original drummer was Dave Ellich. I don't know where Dave Ellich is from. Mars Volta, I believe. Associated with the Mars Volta, at least. All pigs must die. Yeah, that's the dude. So I say they have only gotten much more super since release because Ben Kohler? Is that how you say it? Where is it? Kohler, yeah. Ben Kohler, who is the drummer for one of my favorite bands of ever, Converge, he is now the drummer, and Dave Ellich is no longer part of the band. This apparently happened in 2015, which their record came out in 2011. So, like, how can you say between records who's a part of a supergroup? I don't know. It's just weird. So, yeah, first record was self-titled, and it was amazing. If you haven't listened to it, you probably should. Especially if you like really aggressive music, but it seems fractured. So the thing that is, I don't know, depending on my mood, I guess, or depending on the song, there are definitely moments that really feel like their respective bands. So there's definitely moments that feel like a Dillinger Escape song. Or there's moments that feel like a Sepultura song or a Soulfly song, and there's definitely moments that feel like a Mastodon song. Not so much with the Mars Volta on that first record. I've never listened to All Pigs Must Die, so couldn't say that one. But it was very compartmentalized, and not necessarily from song to song, but from like section to section in the songs. Like, oh, Max wrote this song, this part. Oh, Greg wrote this part. Oh, Troy wrote this part. So that was that. At times, it's really interesting that they have such a distinctive writing style that you can pick it out like that. But at other times, it's like, all right, give me something that sounds like an amalgamation of all of these things and not distinctively this one thing. And then we're going to distinctively move into another part that was obviously written by the next guy. So I kind of waffle back and forth as far as the overall feel of the record, but production was really solid. Performances were really solid as you can get from Max, I would imagine. Because what can you say about a man that plays a guitar with only 4 strings? Not a bass, it's a proper guitar that only has 4 strings because he doesn't solo, so he doesn't need the top 3 strings, according to him. So Because who needs color in your chords anyway? That's for all those crazy jazz musicians. So yeah, that's kind of history of the band. I found out about them when they were writing the self-titled record. I had a friend that was really more into Mastodon than myself. Actually, the guy that turned me on to Mastodon was like, "Yo, Troy is doing this thing with Max Cavalera," and I was like, "What?" And yeah, that's pretty much how the conversation went, because I talk like that in real life. So yeah, it was impressive when it first came out. It stands up. I feel like it is still a pretty solid metal record in spite of its flaws, like I said, in the writing. Yeah, so that brings us to the next little piece. As I lean over and try to not lean out of frame, we're going to do this. Oh. Before we get any further into this video, let's get a couple of things out of the way. First, if you want to listen to this song or watch this video in whole without my commentary, then go do that. This is not the place for that. This is a reaction and analysis video. We're here for a conversation, not for a watch party. I'm going to be stopping this video, talking over certain parts, and replaying certain parts, so get used to it. Second, my analysis is my opinion. My opinion comes from a place of knowledge. I have over 30 years of musical training and experience, 20 years as a professional musician and producer, and almost 10 years as a video producer and director. I know what I'm talking about. All that being said, we will be discussing the performance of the song by the musicians, production of the song by the producer, and production of the video, should that apply, by the director and anyone else involved. Now, I return you to your regularly scheduled reaction video. Thanks, nerds. So, that leads us into expectations. I don't want this to happen, but I expect this to happen. I expect to hear differentiation between who wrote which part. I full on, like, I wish they would be able to blend their sounds a little better, but I full on expect that to be a going theme with Kill or Be Killed. And then I honestly expect the drums to be taken up a level, because Kohler is a very different drummer than Ellich. Kohler is a very different drummer than most drummers. Honestly, the only thing I can really compare Kohler to would be like early Brann Dailor, so like the first 2 or 3 Mastodon records, and actually what we've listened to of the newest Mastodon outing. Also is pretty shred-worthy, but Kohler shreds on the drums. Oops, sorry, I'm creaking in your ear. So vocally, I really like the back and forth between Max and Greg. I hope that they continue that a little more intertwined. Again, I don't necessarily expect that to happen, but I would love to hear that. And yeah, I think that's all we got for expectations. So let's do the thing. And let's get into the song. 4 minutes long. All of the stuff we've been doing with this batch has been relatively short. Ooh. That sounds like more Pusciato guitar work. I'm down for that. This feels like a Troy section. Not just because he's singing, but because like the droney kind of stoner kind of feel. Oh, wow. Okay, so we've got a couple elements going on here that I'm really getting behind. I've just been choosing really good songs to react to recently. So we have Greg Puciato and Troy Sanders are doing vocal duty right now. I don't know why I didn't mention Troy's vocal duty when I was talking about the interplay between the vocalists, but you know, it is what it is. So Troy does that almost Ozzy-esque. I mean, Brent in Mastodon, Brent has the more Ozzy-sounding voice, but they have similar deliveries in that he's got these long vowels. Something along those lines is very common for Troy to do. Listen to a lot of the more mellow passages in Mastodon music, and that's what Troy's doing, is something very similar to that. Now, what Greg has done, I keep hitting the guitar stand. All right, so what Greg is doing here vocally is stepping out of his expected box. Like, it's kind of hard to nail Greg down now that he's gone solo, but as far as what we know of his work in Dillinger Escape Plan, he kind of has two modes, and his melodic mode, his more mellow kind of vocal delivery, is not this, is more attuned to something like Unretrified, where it's great. I love Greg Puciato's vocals. Everything that man has put his voice on sounds fantastic. So I really, really love Puciato's vocals just anyway, but like, the Unretrified style vocal is, I mean, go listen to the song, but is not this. And then his other vocal, obviously, is the more aggressive, screamy stuff. And obviously that's not this either. So this is a little more, and even the solo, because we did the reactions to his solo work not that long ago, even his solo work can still kind of fit into one of those two categories. It's a little more nuanced now. Probably because he's grown as an artist and he doesn't, have that expectation of, oh, this is a Dillinger record, so I have to sound in a certain way. So this is him stepping even further outside of that box and almost like accenting Troy's vocal. And it's working for me. Let's just say that. So the other really great element that's going on right now is Kohler's drums. I was expecting to be blown away by his drums. We have almost a Neurosis kind of thing going on here with his drums. Neurosis, Mastodon, kind of somewhere in the middle. Because again, this definitely feels like a section of the song, and we're almost halfway through. That was written by Troy Sanders because it has a very, very Mastodon-y kind of feel. But the drums are kind of one of the things that pull it out because he's not shredding necessarily. He's just straight, solid, right on top of that beat. So we're going to go back just a little bit and we're going to listen to the interplay of the two. And then we're also going to be listening to the mix of the toms, the kick, and the snare on this drum set. They're mixed so well, it sounds like some sort of tribal thunder behind everything that's going on. Oh, there is no tom. This is all kick. All kick and snare. And obviously cymbals, but... Oh, harmony. What? Wow. All right, so let's find that. Oh, my ear is so bad. Remember, that is one of the other things we're doing with this video series, is training my ear. Where What is that? I'm not going to waste too much time on it, but that was definitely like a minor third. No, no. Oh, there it is. G. Yeah, that's totally. No, no. No, no. So the harmony was up here, it sounded like, the third on top of it. What am I doing here? Yeah, I think that's it. Oops. Yeah, minor third. Wow, that sounds so haunting. Before we let Max do his thing. So this kick drum that we're listening to right here, right? So that kick drum that you're listening to, it's not anything crazy technical in that it's not necessarily difficult to perform the riff. What is difficult and impressive about the performance of this drum is that it does not stop. We are 2 minutes into this song, roughly. 2 minutes in, and the kick drum has not stopped once. It's just the... I can't do it with my fingers, but that... For 2 minutes, with your feet, gets a little exhausting. Even if it was... straight for 2 minutes, it's a little exhausting. There's a Neurosis song that demonstrates the power of a simple, repetitive beat. It's off The Eye of Every Storm. I can't remember the name of the track right now, but it's amazing. It's do-do-da, 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 which is a really simple, punky kind of beat, but it does not stop for the entire 4.5 minute runtime of the song, which is a feat in and of itself. And that's kind of what Kohler's doing here. Obviously, we know it changes once Max comes in and turns it into Sepultura, but right now I'm kind of blown away by Kohler's and also by the fact that he's not only stepping out of his box to do something that is not so bonkers, but he's following the lead of Troy's really droney, sludgy kind of feel and setting it apart. Makes it feel less like Mastodon song and more like a Killer Be Killed song. So I'm fully appreciating this. And now Max. Yep. So this actually sounds more like Soulfly than Sepultura, but yes. And now we're into more of the unretrified vocal delivery from Pusciato. And then we kick it up into his aggressive vocal. The blending is happening better. It's still pretty distinctive, but there's definite merging of styles that happens a little better this time around than in that first record. So the other thing that's changed with the style change here, the style shift, I guess, is the mix on the drums. If you'll notice, the snare, they've brought the volume on the snare up just a little bit so it can cut through all of the extra chaos. Also, the performance is probably leading into that because he's probably hitting the snare a little bit harder, but also he's a little more ready. That's not the word I'm looking for. A little more likely to be using cymbals, which also helps kind of cut through the guitar distortion because cymbal, sonically speaking, sits on top of everything. You can pull the volume of a cymbal almost completely out, and you will still hear it in the mix because that is how piercing the tone of a cymbal is it just rips through everything. Oh, yeah. Punctuate that. All right, so we haven't touched on video production at all for this video, and there's reason for that, because this is a really simple video. It's just basically performance, so they've got some lights, they've got a couple of filters run over the screen, they've done some post effects that are real basic stuff to add the scratches and the distortions and the noise. By and large, though, nothing video production-wise that would be difficult or really. You can watch it and see how they did it. There's no surprises video production-wise. As far as the most intriguing vocal performance in this song, as was kind of the case throughout the first record, but that's just because I think Puciato's a little more dynamic with his vocal, is Greg Puciato, because that man has such a crazy voice. And like, we're seeing elements in here. Obviously, we've probably seen most of this before from Greg, but like this mix of these three different, because like I said before we went into this, there's kind of only largely been two different vocal styles, not performances, but vocal styles from Greg Puciato. We're seeing the emergence of a third one here as he's accenting Troy Sanders' vocal delivery. But the interplay between he and Max Cavalera at this latter half, this feels more like the first record in that it's very clearly written by Max Cavalera. The first part of this song was very clearly written by Troy Sanders. But Puciato and Kohler are kind of weaving their way in there to set it apart from those distinctive sounds. So it's really nice. I really like this. We've got 15 seconds left. Let's just play. Oh, not even 15 seconds. Got to do the sign-off, guys. You got to do the end screen and the cards and all the stuff. So yeah, that is the new Killer Be Killed, man. I can get behind that. Absolutely. Oops. Sorry. There, I'm back in focus. Like I said, the first record was really good. Reluctant Hero is the name of the new record. New drummer, Kohler, is doing amazing things. They have released 2 previous singles to this. We're not going to do reactions to that because I'm just going to get the whole record as soon as it releases. But yeah, love it. What did you think of it? Let's talk about that in the comments section. What do you think of...
Before we get any further into this video, let's get a couple of things out of the way. First, if you want to listen to this...
Sorry, I didn't realize that was still loaded up. What did you think? What do you think of this supergroup specifically? And then what do you think of just supergroups in general? Because I feel like they're so hit and miss. It's hard to nail down whether it's a good idea or not for other musicians to do it. So let's have that conversation in the comments section. I think that would be a lot of fun. But that is where we're ending things today. What did you think of the video? Let's talk about that down in the comments as well, because I know you guys are going to give me all of your opinions. Yeah. Website, generallynerdy.net, patreon.com/generallynerdy to support a little more directly. There's stores and stuff. You can find links down in the video description. Do all of the stuff. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome, nerd. If you are just coming here for the first time and you want to join in all of the nerdy happenings, then I do encourage that. We do a news show here twice a week, which I actually got to go film now-ish. So thank you very much, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Got to get the right end card. Now I've got to do the end cards and the things and the stuff. Don't forget, you can click or tap one of the two boxes right here below my face and to see all of the other stuff that's going on here on the channel. More reactions coming your way. System of a Down did just release some new music. Again, I might just put these up in a different order, so disregard anything I'm saying right now. We'll see you in the next one, nerds. Before we head out, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.